Okay, so this is part one of three of how to get 100% on your test for your Cycle 1 assessment. Okay, so what we have here is the first question worth 6 marks. Now, it's worth remembering that you only need to get 45 marks in order to get the 40%, which sounds like an awful lot. But when you break it down to like one question's worth 10 marks, one question's worth 6 marks, you've got to get a few questions right, and then you're sorted. The first question here is all about inequalities. So the first thing we're going to do with this is we're going to multiply out the brackets. So we get 3x minus 6 is less than 8 minus 2x. And the thing that's worth remembering whenever you do these sorts of questions is that every time you do something like multiply the set of brackets here, you usually get a mark. So now what we're going to do is going to get all the x onto one side, all the numbers on the other side. So we need to collect the x's on the left-hand side, because there's more of them. So we need to get rid of this minus 2x. So if we add it onto the other side, we're going to get 5x minus 6 is less than 8. Then if we get rid of this minus 6, we need to add it onto the other side. So we get 5x is less than 14. Divide by 5 and we get x is less than 14 over 5. We can also write that as x is less than 2 4/5 or 2.8. Now, if we have a look a little bit further down the question, we've got to find a set of values which satisfies both the first one and the second one. So what we're going to do is we're just going to keep a record of what this looks like. So if we've got 0 here, and we've got 2 4/5 there, or 14 over 5. If x is less than that, that's going to be a hollow circle with an arrow all the way to the left. So now we've got to do the second one, and we've got to sketch this out. Whenever we've got a quadratic inequality, we always sketch it out. Now we know this is going to be quadratic, because if we did multiply out the brackets, by doing 2x times x, we're going to get 2x squared. So what we're going to do, if we get rid of the first question there, if we multiply that out, we're going to get 2x squared. We're going to get minus 7. We're going to get minus 7x. And we're going to get plus 2x. Which will be y equals 2x squared minus 5x minus 7. Now the reason that we've written it like this is because we then sketch the graph, and we need to know where this goes through the y-axis. And we can see here that it goes through the y-axis when x is 0, so it's going to go through at minus 7. And then we need to set y equal to 0. Now if we set y equal to 0, go back to this part of the question here. So if we get rid of the y and set that equal to 0, then the first thing we're going to do is we're going to factorise that. And it's already been factorised in the initial question, which is over here on the right hand side. So we've got to find out where this goes through at 0. So if we've got 2x minus 7, we've got to make this bracket equal to 0, and we've got to make 1 plus x equal to 0. So this one's going to go through at minus 1. And if we set this bracket equal to 0, 2x minus 7 equals 0. 2x equals 7, x equals 7 over 2. So this one goes through at 7 over 2, or 3.5. Now because when we multiply it out, we've got a positive value of x squared, it means it's going to be a positive parabola. So therefore, it's going to look like something like that there, except it's going to look more like a U shape. And we want to know, if we go back and have a look at the initial question, we want to know where it's less than 0. So our graph is less than 0 right here. It's less than 0 because it's below the x-axis. So the solution to this one, for part B, is this is less than 0 when x is less than 7 over 2, but greater than minus 1. If we drew that on our diagram over here, 7 over 2 is 3.5, so that's going to like that there. Down to minus 1. But we want to know where it satisfies both of these equations. So the bit where it satisfies both the equations goes from here to here. Because at this bit here, that's only satisfying this equation. This bit here is only satisfying this equation. So the bit in between the two green lines here is where it satisfies both equations. So we'd write that down as the final mark as x is less than 2 4/5 or 14 over 5, but greater than minus 1. Now, feel free at any point to pause the videos, but just to make sure they're not too long, we're going to crack on through. Now, apologies for this, the squared didn't come out on the typed print, so I need to write those in separately. So the first one is show that x squared plus 6x plus 11 can be written in the form x plus p squared plus q. Now the first thing you've got to know is that when it's asked it in this form, x plus something squared plus something, that is completing the square. So that's the first link that you've got to make. So if we do that and we complete the square, we half the number in front of the x, so it's going to be x plus 3 squared, take away 3 squared, plus 11. And then if we simplify that, it goes to x plus 3 squared plus 2. So that our value is plus 3 and it's plus 2. The next thing is to find the value of the discriminant. Now the discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. And if that's something you don't know, that's something that you've got to remember. The discriminant means b squared minus 4ac. So if we've got x squared plus 6x plus 11, the value of a is the number that's in front of the x squared, the number of b, or the value of b, is the number that's in front of the x, and the other number is the one that's on the end. So if we're going to do b squared minus 4ac, then our value of b equals 6, the value of a equals 1, because there's no number there, so it's a 1, and our value of c equals 11. So b squared is going to be 6 squared minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is 11. So if we do that, that's 36 minus 44, which equals minus 8. And that's all you need to do for this question. If, however, they then went on to ask you what this means, then the fact that you've got a negative discriminant, that means that it won't ever go through the x-axis. So the graph has no x solutions, so there's no solutions to it, which means that the graph could look like that, or it could look like that, but it certainly will not go through this x-axis here.